Live, breaking news from News Channel 3.
Good afternoon, everybody. I'm Beth Farnsworth.
And I'm C.J. Ward. We are continuing to follow the Thomas fire.
And this is a live procession. Earlier this morning, a firefighter was killed on the Fillmore side of the firefight in the Thomas blaze. And we understand this is the procession. The firefighter's body has been moved from the fire engine truck to the hearse that you can see right now from the aerial shot. And it appears that it's traveling down Highway 126 from the Fillmore area toward Ventura, we think, toward the medical examiner.
Yeah, the CAL FIRE does confirm that the firefighter is from San Diego, I guess a CAL FIRE division out of San Diego. He or she died this morning on the east flank of the wildfire that's near the Fillmore area. And of course, so sad, we've been following this live during some of our cut-ins. The firefighter was pronounced dead at the scene and was with a strike team of 2 or 3 other crew members. The name of the firefighter we have not received yet. We've been waiting for that. We are expecting a press conference about this and what happened coming up at 4:15. Of course, we're also waiting for the 4 o'clock community meeting to start. That's the one that we've been covering daily at San Marcos High School.
That's right. It was during one of these meetings that we learned that the terrain here in our area is some of the most dangerous in the world when it comes to fighting fires. And we know about the wind situation given the mountains and the ocean and all that happens between the shifting winds, erratic weather, and the humidity. Incredible the levels have been so low. Chief Meteorologist Alan Rose joining us now with an update on the forecast for the rest of the afternoon and into tonight.
Oh, pretty good tonight. Pretty good the rest of the day. Pretty good early Friday. Not so good potentially Friday night and Saturday. And yeah, you remember 2 nights ago, and even back Sunday night, Monday night, we saw humidity at the Montecito Hills weather station 1% for like 5 hours at a time. I've never seen that. And usually overnight is when you see humidities rise as you get somewhat of that sea breeze and it pumps in the moisture.
Well, and last night we were talking about this exact same thing. I had taken a break. I walk out on the patio to see if I can see a flare-up. And I do see the flare-up, but then I see huge chunks of fog floating past me. I'm like, where is this coming from? And Jason Stiff went out, took pictures of it, and posted it on social media. But it's so bizarre because you know it's how dry it is up there in the hills, but then we're getting chunks of fog floating past TV Hill. And
even driving home, we had, water all over our windshields from the precipitation.
I wish it would spread inland, but leave it to the mesa. I mean, if you live in Santa Barbara, you know that this area is more prone to that marine layer. See it a lot in the summer, not so much here this time of the year. If we can, let's switch to the graphics. That right there is not the marine layer. That's just a bunch of smoke and the ash that still continues to fall. But I want to talk about what lies ahead because this is a very critical period. This has been talked about since back on Tuesday night that there could be an increase in the wind and what that could potentially do for the fires. So the firefighters have really been taking advantage of this time and doing all these back burns and plan burns to try to make sure they draw a perimeter and don't allow it to spread south towards the homes. 74 right now at the Botanic Gardens. Winds are fairly calm here. Humidity's gone up from 8 to 21% in the last hour. Still under 10% in the Montecito foothills where temperatures at 74 degrees and we have a little bit of an offshore component to the wind, but everything is fairly light and easy going at this 4 o'clock hour. Wiley Ridge in Ventura County, here we still have those lingering Santa Anas. Earlier today, this weather station clocked a gust, I believe, at about 55 miles per hour. Here's the story Friday into Saturday. Friday night and then through the day Saturday, we will be increasing these gusty north winds. In the foothill areas, there's a potential that we could see gusts 25 to 35. I'm not going to call this a true sundowner. It's being generated by a cold front that arrives probably during the overnight hours. So it's not going to be that typical window of maybe 4 p.m. to midnight or 4 p.m. to 2 a.m. where we see the strongest wind. I think it's going to wait a little while, probably till after midnight when the winds start to perk up. And then really by Saturday morning, could be seeing some pretty strong conditions out there. Fire weather watch has been issued in Santa Barbara County because of that.
Okay. All right. Thank you. We understand that meeting is underway right now at San Marcos High School. I want to take you and listen in.
Incident as one of the public information officers. As we have shown this week, we are continuing our dedication to this community to continue to provide you with the latest information in a timely manner. First of all, I'd like to start by introducing Marla Arciniega. She's here tonight with Just Communities, and she has a few words to say about our Spanish language translation.
Thank you. Muy buenas noches. Mi nombre es Marla y les estamos ofreciendo interpretación esta noche. My name is Marla and we are offering some interpretation tonight. El equipo está ubicado en la parte de atrás del auditorio. The equipment is located in the back part of the auditorium. Si necesitan uno, vayan a visitarnos y nosotros les ayudaremos. If you need one, just come visit us and you'll be able to borrow one. Voy a compartirles algunas guías de cómo trabajar con intérpretes. I'm going to share a couple of guidelines on how to work with interpreters. Para empezar, si me ven hacer este señalamiento, necesito que hablen más despacio. If you see me doing this sign, I need you to slow down. Si me ven hacer este señalamiento, necesito que alcen la voz. If you see me do this sign, I need you to raise your voice. Y si me ven hacer este señalamiento, quiere decir hablen uno a la vez. If you see me do this sign, it means please speak one at a time. Thank you for your collaboration. Gracias por su colaboración.
Thank you, Marla. I'd also like to take a moment to recognize the efforts of Joe Black to my right here, who has been providing ASL translation for us this week every night. So thank you, Joe. I will start tonight by introducing from the Unified Command System we have here, CAL FIRE Incident Management Team 4, Deputy Incident Commander Jeff Pemberton.
Good evening. I'll give you a brief update on the incident size and percentage contained. Currently, we're at 242,500 acres. 30% contained, and still over 8,000 personnel. It's with heavy heart tonight that I am saddened to announce a firefighter fatality on the Thomas incident. We can confirm that CAL FIRE engineer Corey Iverson from the San Diego unit of CAL FIRE lost his life while battling the Thomas fire. The San Diego unit of CAL FIRE Incident Management Team 4, CAL FIRE Local 2881, along with CAL FIRE leadership statewide, are currently working to support Corey's family, as well as his firefighter family. More details will be made available as soon as they are confirmed. Join me in keeping our fallen firefighters, his loved ones, in your prayers and thoughts as we work through these challenging conditions. I would ask now that, in honor of Corey, that we take a moment of silence in remembrance of him. Thank you.
Due to the nature of this event this morning, and our continued need back at base camp, we're going to conduct the meeting a little differently tonight. We will have an operational briefing here on the conditions of the fire as they currently are. We will take a few brief questions at that time relating to the fire only, please, just related to the fire activity. And then we'll have a couple of speakers from our law enforcement community here. And at that point, we will break out into having your questions answered on an individual basis. We will not be taking questions from the stage with the microphone tonight. We do have representatives here from water, power, some of your local agencies here that have to do with repopulating back into your home. So we will get all your questions answered. We will stick around until the last question is answered, but we will be answering them on a one-on-one basis here in front of the stage or in the lobby behind us. So with that, I will introduce our ops briefing from Santa Barbara County Fire Battalion Chief Chris Childers.
Good evening, everyone. Not as much fun today as it was the last couple of days. We've had a very good day, but this was a tough one for all of us. The reason I can be here every night instead of being out there in operations is because I have a mirrored image partner on this fire. And he's a CAL FIRE guy with the CAL FIRE team. and he was good friends with his kid. And so that hits hard. And it always hits hard when it's a firefighter because it's all big family and all firefighters are hit with that. But it's even closer to home tonight. So with that, we did get a chance to go out and see what's going on in the fire this afternoon. And I just got back from the fire line and the area where we are actually progressing directly up the hill, and I'm trying to slow down. I promise I'm trying to slow down. The fire line, what they're cutting is incredibly, it's the hill itself. You all know the front country here, but the line they put in above the houses, I swear it's that steep. And it's amazing that these guys are out there working it, and yet they've got a direct line up and they're working up the hill. So they're doing a great job. Before I get into the map exactly where we are, let me do one more thing, a follow-up from a question last night. Someone mentioned they had not been seeing firefighters wearing masks. And I did see a firefighter wearing a mask while I was out there just now. And also the good answer, the proper answer is not that, I don't want to suggest we're all dummies. We have some really intelligent people out there that know what's going on. And you also remember the other day, the doctor from the county talked to us about the health effects of breathing those particulates. And she also mentioned that the most at risk are the youth and the elderly, the very young and the elderly, or some people that have medical conditions. Generally, the firefighters that are out there doing this job are young and healthy people with healthy lungs. Those lungs recover in a little bit of time. And in the fire service, in the old days, we used to fight fire until the fires went out. Nowadays, we take care of our crews a little better. Most fires, we stay a total of 14 days, and then we send people home and get them a few days off at least. So we try and get them out of, obviously it'd be nice to get out of the smoke. We send them home, we send them out of here. And then the maximum we allow even team members to stay is 21 days. And then we send them, they have to go and take some days off and get some recovery. So we do take care of our guys a little bit. It's not all misery. Okay. With that, let's take a look at the fire. So we had some additional spread last night through the fire retardant just below Camino Cielo into, now it's heading right now into San Ysidro Canyon, San Ysidro Creek area, which is right above downtown Montecito. It's not moving fast, it's just creeping under the retardant. We put a lot of retardant on it yesterday. And today we've not had the wind for the air tankers, but we've had some good positive effects with the heavy helicopters, which can fly under the smoke, and they're filling from the mobile retardant base there at the base of 154. So our big spread on this side is here. We are continuing to have some great success cleaning up here. They fired out a little bit here and caused a little bit more ash, and it's looking much better down this way. We are threatening, and we're trying to get 2 more evacuation zones open down here, but there's some question about other closures and what the other side is doing, and so we're not quite there yet, but within a day we'll have some more areas opened. And again, we're continuing the direct attack, which is remember, our primary of our PACE 4 ways to do this. We talked about last night. Does everybody remember? Primarily, we're going to go direct. When that doesn't, or if that doesn't work, we're going to let it continue to come across, and we'll point protect for the houses down here. Can you use your mouse and put it right where can you see down here, right here in the foothills? And then the contingency plan, if nothing else worked, would be we would try and fire this whole area along there with the lines that we've put in down here and the lines here. You want to show them that? Does that help? So that's kind of the contingency plan. It looks less and less necessary at this point. We're hopeful that we can keep going direct and not have to do that. And then we're having some good luck with the retardant lines back here, and now we're putting those hand lines in, and so we're hopefully getting, I think, going to be sealed into the San Ynez Creek River on the north or the south side, and we had some luck over here, but we still have some work to do back here, and that again ties us into the Zaca fire. And the other side, they have some heat and some projects up here. In the other side of the fire, there's a firing operation going to happen off the 33, but that will be on the Ventura side. And they had, of course, some heat and some backup down in the Fillmore area. someplace over there. Can you see Fillmore? Okay, and anyway, they've had some activity over there, and that's where we had the problem. And then some great news about the whole bottom down in here and around the corner here. Okay, and I will stick around for, are we doing questions now or? We can do questions at the end. Okay, I'll be around after that to have questions.
Good evening. I'm Cindy Ponce. I'm the captain with the Santa Barbara, California Highway Patrol. We would like to thank the public for their patience as we close the 154 this morning. We completely understand that this is a great inconvenience for lots of residents who travel that corridor in the mornings. However, it's very important that we provide safety to the firefighters who are traveling that roadway at shift change time so we can get them in and out of Lake Cachuma Camp as smoothly as possible so they're able to respond out to fight the fire and they're not delayed due to other traffic on the roadway. So we completely understand that it creates hardship for some people. However, we ask for your continued patience as this closure will continue each morning from 5 a.m. to 9 a.m. until it's no longer necessary, and we don't know exactly when that will be. However, we will reevaluate it every day. But we thank you greatly for your patience in understanding in that. I want to thank Caltrans. Our partners in Caltrans have been amazing. Without them assisting us with these closures, we would not be as successful as we are. And lastly, our thoughts and prayers are with our brothers and sisters at CAL FIRE. We just ask that you keep them in your thoughts and prayers too as they mourn the loss of their loved one. Thank you.
Good afternoon. I'm Bernard Malekian. I'm the Undersheriff for Santa Barbara, and I have the privilege of representing the men and women of the Sheriff's Office this afternoon. I've been in this business for a long time, and the reality of the relationship between law enforcement and firefighters is a good-natured banter that goes on almost continually. Until you have a day like today when you get reminded what the ultimate cost of this business is. And to echo what everybody else has said, our thoughts and prayers are with the family of the fallen firefighter as well as his brother and sister. It's a tough business, and it's a good reminder that these 8,000 people that are out there fighting this fire for all of us, it's not an easy business. So. The Sheriff's Office has two missions, really. One is evacuation, and the other is the security of those areas once they are evacuated. And in the course of talking about the role of firefighters and the role of law enforcement, I just wanted to point out that there's another evacuation that's gone on, and it's not carried out directly, at least, by law enforcement, and that's the evacuation of animals. Nearly 1,500 animals, large animals, have been evacuated over the course of the last 10 days. And I just thought I would point out the role of the equine evacuation, the Santa Barbara Humane Society, the Earl Warren Showgrounds, the El Capitan Ranch, and Santa Barbara County Animal Services. If you have animals or you are in an evacuation zone, a warning, and you get a transition to mandatory, there is a phone number that you can call. It's 805-681-4332. Currently, there are no changes from yesterday in the status of mandatory evacuation areas as well as warning orders. We have gotten a number of questions about repopulation. That is a decision that will be made by Fire Incident Command. I can assure you that they are continually reviewing this, they recognize that people want to go home, that they need to go home, and it is the #1 priority of both county EOC as well as the Fire Incident Command to repopulate those areas as quickly as possible. The only criteria being that it needs to be as safe as possible. And until they can be assured that people can be reintroduced back into those areas safely, those areas will remain closed. We anticipate that that may change, particularly on the eastern side of Carpinteria in the next day or two, but we do not know yet, and as soon as we know, you will know. A reminder that we have gotten a number of requests about whether or not people can, we will escort them into the closed areas. And while we deal with this on a case-by-case basis, we have not, the answer is generally no. And the reason that it is no is because we're hoping, quite frankly, that the area will open up very quickly. If, in fact, for some reason, it appears as though the areas will remain closed for an extended period of time, we will reevaluate that, and we will work with our California Highway Patrol partners to develop a systematic plan for escorts. Just a reminder that if you are in a warning area, in spite of...
We are going to break away now from this community meeting taking place at San Marcos High School for a media briefing regarding the firefighter who killed earlier today in Fillmore.
Death of fire apparatus engineer Corey Iverson. Good evening. This evening I am
we remind everybody that you may have neighbors who have self-evacuated, and please keep an eye on their home, treat it as neighborhood watch, and please be assured that both the Sheriff's Office and Santa Barbara Police Department are responding to routine calls for service and will respond to your requests for assistance.
Okay, we're going to go back to the Santa Barbara community meeting at San Marcos High School. We were just letting you know that there is a media briefing taking place right now at the Ventura County Fairgrounds. This is updating our crew and media representatives there on the firefighter fatality that occurred earlier today in Fillmore. Firefighter Corey Iverson of San Diego lost his life. We'll have more details on that coming up, but we're going to continue to listen in now on this meeting.
Going to be available for questions and answers down here in front. For those who are watching on one of the live streaming platforms, if you have questions, you can ask through that platform. We'll try and get them answered. Those who have questions specific to the fire and the fire operations, please meet down here in the front here, and Battalion Chief Childers will answer those questions. We can use the map and the pointer if necessary. And finally, I would just ask that you please refrain from asking any questions relating to this morning's fatality, as it is still under investigation, and we will not be able to comment. Thank you for coming. Oh, my apologies. I see the doctor's here. She's going to speak to you. Happy to see you.
Hi, team. Sorry I'm late. I'm Dr. Charity Dean. I'm the Public Health Officer for Santa Barbara County, and I have an update on street sweeping and ash cleanup. I just met with our team at the Emergency Operations Center of folks representing the municipalities and others who have expertise on ash cleanup. And we're going to be issuing some guidance very shortly, and that does include street sweeping. And the bottom line is that we do need to get the ash cleaned up off the streets. If we don't, it's going to blow into other areas where it's harder to clean up. So the question that we were attempting to answer was, what's the best way to do this? What's the best approach? And the approach that we came up with is supported by Public Health Department and everyone who is at the table, including the Air Pollution Control District. And the advice is that when the streets are being cleaned, that if you are in that area, it could impact you. But I want to reassure you that the street cleaning, the trucks that you're going to be seeing have very strong vacuums. They're also equipped with high efficiency filters, and they are filtering out over 80% of these tiny particles. It might not look that way when you see them because you see some dust in the air, but you're really seeing that other 20%. So it's really a net positive in that they're getting the majority of the ash that's on the street and filtering out the particles. This has to be done, and the longer that we wait and the more ash that accumulates, the harder it gets. So we consulted with our colleagues at the state who have expertise in ash, and like I said, the jurisdictions were represented in the conversation. So we would advise folks, this is going to be done during the normal established hours that it has been done before, and I defer to the cities and municipalities on any further information on that. But if you're in one of those areas where they do need to clean up the ash, wear your mask or avoid the area for that time being while you can. But I want to reassure you that we all supported this plan. It's the best plan that we could come up with, and it does remove the majority of the ash and the particulate matter. And I will be around afterwards for other health questions. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. That concludes our meeting. Again, questions down front, or we also have maps taped up in the lobby if you want to have your question answered next to a map.
It appears both meetings that